Hello, it's Gavin again from Lucid Computer Solutions, and welcome to this review of the Samsung Galaxy M31 smartphone. So, a little bit of context to this review. This is a real world review. So I've been using this phone for 4 weeks, and this review is based on that use. So whilst I am going to go through the technical details of it, I'm not going to get into the real nitty-gritty of the light output from it or speed transfer rates. I'm not going into that. This is real world use, so just wanted to put that out there for a bit of context. Okay, so let's get on with it. Basically, this is the Samsung M31 smartphone. This one, as you can see, is the blue version. There are a couple of other colours you can get. You can get this back of it in black and in red as well. I went for the blue one. In that light look, hopefully you can see it. I think it looks really nice, the blue. Not physically seeing the black and the red myself, but I just preferred blue out of them colours. So first of all, let's talk about the size of the phone. So as you can see, it is quite a big phone. So I've got fairly large hands, I would say, and as you can see, it's not in the palm of my hand, is it? It fills my hand and some. So it is a large phone, but the reason for that is because of the battery, which is a real plus point. But yeah, in terms of the size of the phone, obviously it's hard for you to gauge the size of my hands on this video, isn't it? So it's a 6.4 inch screen is the very first thing to say. And then in terms of how tall it is, it's about 159 millimeters tall. In terms of the width here, it's about 57 million. When I can talk, it's around about 57 millimeters, and then it's about 9 millimeters thick here. Okay, so yeah, it's a fairly large phone, and the number one reason it is fairly large is because of the battery. But the battery is a real plus point of this phone, in my opinion. So this has a 6,000 milliamp battery in it. Now, what does that mean in the real world? That means it's got a huge battery in it. Massive battery, which the average person, in my opinion, should get 2 days out of this without needing to charge it again. I certainly do. I use my phone a fair bit, but not all day. I use it a fair bit in the morning before work. Then I probably don't really touch it until kind of lunchtime. I catch up on messages and calls and get back to people and all that. And then use it again probably just after work. And then a little bit in the evening. In the mornings, I tend to use it to play some music. In the evenings, I may sit on the sofa and play a YouTube video on it sometimes, if the other half is hogging the TV. So I would class that as moderate use, and the battery will give you 2 days life from that, which I think is fantastic. 2 days battery life is not unheard of, but it's quite rare, isn't it? Most of the time these days you're lucky to get a full day's use out of a lot of phones, aren't you? So to get 2 days I think is great. Now let's talk about the charging of the battery. Now, one of the features on the features list, and this is why this is a real world review, is quick charging. All depends on your opinion of quick, because it's not quick. So if you've ran the battery right down and you just want to give it a quick boost to see you through for a short period of time, roughly here, very, very roughly here, in about 30 minutes you'll get about 20% charge. So you'll get that little boost, and 20% charge of this great big battery will actually last you ages, but it will only charge that much. If you've gone right down to 0 or 5% and you want to get a full charge back into it 100%, realistically, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, it will take about 2.5 hours to do that. So bear that in mind as well. This doesn't go from 0 to 100 super fast quick charge, in my opinion. It kind of sips on the charger and does it very slowly. Not a problem for me, because when it's charging I'm generally not using it, so I don't really care. But I'm pointing that out for people out there because everyone has different requirements, don't they? And that could be a key requirement for you. So please do bear that in mind. Touching back on the screen for a second. So as I mentioned, it is a 6.4 inch screen. The screen itself is Super AMOLED, and it's 230/40 by 1080 pixel resolution. Again, what does that mean in the real world? It means the display is crisp, it's bright, it's vibrant, the colour depth is fantastic. Will there be better screens and better phones? Yes, of course there is, but based on the price, which we'll get to towards the end, the screen is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. So yeah, it's got them specs to it, but simply for you to look at, for you to use, I think it is a fantastic screen. Elsewhere, what do we have? So this has 6 gig of RAM in it, so it's no slouch. A lot of phones might only come with 4. This has got 6 gig of RAM. It's got Samsung's Exynos processor in it, a 9611. Again, what does that mean in the real world? It means it's snappy, it's quick. When you're going to click on your apps, they're up, bang, 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 super fast. It is fantastic. Again, I'm fully aware of context here. Are there quicker phones? Yes, of course there are. But it's certainly for most people, like most people out there, this will be absolutely fine. It's super quick, super reliable. It's running Android, of course, version 10. It has an SD card slot in it as well, because the phone itself only comes with 64GB of storage, but you can put in your own SD card for up to 512GB. I think from memory I've put in like 128 gig SD card because that's what I had already, and I just put that in it, which is fine. Again, that's fine for me, and I've set the phone to store all of my videos and photos and music to the SD card, so I'm not using the internal storage basically. So that's what I love about Android phones in general, rather than the fruit based phones where you can't just kind of upgrade it yourself, so to speak. So that's a fantastic feature. So yeah, I recommend if you are getting this phone, get yourself a little micro SD card. And a 128 gig one's really cheap. You'll probably get one for a tenner in the UK, probably $10 in the US. Android itself, as I mentioned, is version 10. It's a fairly clean Android experience. So there is a little bit of Samsung bump on there. Not much. They've put a few of their Samsung utilities on here. I generally don't use them, but it's fairly clean, it's fairly minimal, it's good to use, it's certainly not bloated at all. So security wise, we have the fingerprint reader on the back there, which hopefully you can just about see in this light, and it has the usual facial recognition. The facial recognition is what I use. It works really well. In most situations it works well. Obviously if you're in a really dark environment, it may struggle to pick you up, and then you can just enter your PIN code. But in very general terms, 80-90% of the time, the facial recognition works spot on. It picks up in a few seconds, less than that a lot of the time, unlocks your phone and off you go. So I quite like that feature. That's really good. What else have we got? So cameras, of course, which is normally a big thing for most people, including me. I want a decent camera. So this does have the quad camera setup. So what we've got on the back here, we do have, as you can see, we've got 4 cameras and a flash there. So what do we have? We have a main camera, which is 64 megapixels. We have an ultra wide camera, which is 8 megapixels. We have a depth camera, which is 5 megapixels. We have a macro camera, which is 5 megapixels. Now, again, because this is a real world review, I'll tell you now, I've only used the main camera, because that's all I would use. I've only used that main camera, and that main camera is fantastic. The photos I take are super sharp, crisp, nice. The night mode isn't bad. I've had a little play with that. It's okay, but you have to keep quite still. But again, the large majority of the time in everyday scenarios, taking family pictures with your friends when you're out and about, when you're not in lockdown, and it's going to be really good, really nice photos. If you want to see an example of some photos, I believe there should be some on our Instagram account, which have been taken by this phone. So down below are all the links, which I'll go through at the end, but one of them will be to our Instagram. if you look at pictures on our Instagram account since the middle of December, they will have probably been taken with this camera. Now, some of them will be with the front-facing camera, the selfie style ones, which I'm going to talk about in a second anyway. But yeah, the large majority, I think, have been taken with this camera. So feel free to check that out and judge the pictures yourself, is my advice. Yeah, so the front-facing camera is 32 megapixels, and again, for the old selfies, it's really, really good. It's a really good selfie camera. I'm really impressed with it. It's fantastic. Video-wise, I'm not going to go into all the frame rates. Brutally honest, that's not my cup of tea. But I simply film videos on it, and I can tell you the film quality is superb. I know it's got 4K video recording capabilities. The videos we've recorded on it have been fantastic. Again, one of our previous YouTube videos, I think the daily vlog 002, was filmed entirely on this phone. So I'll link to that down below. And if you want to watch that, that was all done using a front-facing camera, a vlog video. So again, judge the video quality, and that was done on this phone. So gauge it for yourself and go and check that out. So overall, yeah, in the real world, it takes awesome pictures and videos. I only really use the main camera and the front-facing camera, so I can't really comment on depth, ultra-wide, and macros. I think they're all a bit gimmicky for me, but that might be important to you, and so do a bit more research if that's important to you, but it's not important to me. So, in conclusion, because I'm waffling on far too long here, probably because I quite like the phone. So in conclusion, first of all, before I give the conclusion, price, because that's key here. So here in the UK, I picked this up for £245, which is amazing. It's amazing value for money, £245, and I would deem this to be a flagship killing phone. It will compete with them, in my opinion, no problem at all. £245 for that much quality when it comes to the speed, the cameras, the overall experience of the phone, it's well worth it. I actually traded in a broken phone as well, and I got like 25 quid for it. It was broken, but they still give me 25 quid for it. So I used that towards it. So actually, technically, it was £220. You could do the same, and you might get more for your old phone. But the retail price, is about £245, which is really cheap. I know there's slightly cheaper phones around, and there's obviously loads which are much more expensive. I've honestly, having used this phone, I can't give a good argument for you to go out and spend £800, £900, £1,000 on a phone. It makes no sense when you can get this for £245. So I'm sure you can guess my conclusion. This is highly, highly, highly recommended. I absolutely love this phone. And bear in mind a little bit of context here. Obviously, I'm into all my tech. I'm largely into computers and laptops and networking equipment. I'm not actually heavily into phones. People that know me personally will tell you this. I've never really been into phones. But this phone, I'm genuinely quite excited about. So it must be good, considering I'm not hugely into mobile phones, and I absolutely love it. And this does excite me. Says it all, really. If it can get me excited because of the excellent value for money, it must be a good phone. So highly recommended. Go out there, check it out yourselves. Check out our Instagram account for some example photos. Check out the vlog 002 on the channel for examples of the front-facing video camera quality. Gauge it for yourself. I think it's fantastic. So I'm going to wrap this up because I've gone way over my usual time I give myself for these videos. So all the links are down below to connect with me on Instagram, Twitter and LinkedIn. Please do comment on the video. I try and get back to everybody myself. So please do comment any questions, any thoughts, any recommendations. Please do use the comments. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, why not? Subscribe to our channel. We're releasing new content all the time. Likewise, if you made it this far into the video, we must have done a half decent job. So please smash the like button for us. I can't stress that enough. It massively helps us grow our channel. It massively helps YouTube put our videos forward to other people. Please smash the like button. I would really, really appreciate it. So that's it for today. That's me, Gavin from Lucid Computer Solutions with the superb Samsung M31 smartphone. See you next time.